Hey everybody, really cool video we're sharing today. One of the questions I get a lot, and I mean a lot, is can you help someone who's older, someone who's not as flexible, someone who's had injuries, someone who's not in the prime of their athletic life? Will this swing work for them? And I always say yes, of course. Obviously not everyone's as flexible as Juju or somebody who's 23 years old and in physically perfect shape. But the one thing that changes in our golf swing is the length, or the maximum length of our step two, how far we can go before we have to set because our body won't allow us to go anymore. And so I asked Joel's 72 years old. We've been working together for a couple lessons remotely, and he's had some incredible progress in a very short time. And I asked him if I could share his story because it can relate to a lot of people that are asking for essentially his situation. Can it help me? And so Joel's 72 years old. He's had a heart transplant surgery. He's had an additional heart surgery. He's had double hip replacement. He tore his right quad. He can barely move his right elbow, and he has limited wrist mobility. And so everything you would think, oh man, I can't, there's no way I can do this. It looks like you have to be so athletic. The answer is nope, of course you can. And so I'm going to play it in regular speed. I want you to hear the compression of this golf ball. I'm going to break down where he's at now with his swing and where it was when we very first started, when he was trying it on his own before he reached out and started lessons remotely. So take a listen, guys.
Oh, that was a good one. Best yet.
One more time, let's listen to that sound and impact. Volume up. That ball was flushed. Okay, so when we first met, and he came to me, this is as far as he can go and really be at step one, really in somewhere in this range, right? His body just will not allow him to keep that right hand on top much longer. Can't really keep his shoulders where he needs to be. It hurts, right? And so his right elbow doesn't want to move properly. But when we first met, he sent me a video, and his step one at this position, right? This is a little lower than the normal step one, but what we do is we kind of minimize the length of step one when our step two is minimized. And so he had the club in his hands in a position like this. And he said, I think I have step one down. This yellow line will indicate where the shaft is as opposed to where it is now. And so we moved it as far as we physically could and still being comfortable to be able to get to as close to a step one as we could, right? And what I'm really love and I'm really excited to show you is what happens in transition. Even though it's not getting to the same spots as Juju, because Juju is incredibly flexible, the same good fundamentals that our swing creates and great angles that are created are starting to happen for Joel. So as we go up, right, he's fighting this wrist set, right? He's fighting this wrist set beautifully, right? This right wrist is not setting, okay? So although it looks like a traditional swing, he's fighting it, and this is really the end of his golf swing, okay? Obviously, Juju gets way up here, right, with her right hand. Not everyone can move like that, okay? So he's essentially done with his step two here. And what I love is, right, as he starts to let it go, look at what happens here. Look at this little load. I'm going to zoom in here. I want you to see what's happening with the shaft as we start to come down. The shaft is actually loading just how we would like, right? His wrist actually won't move much further. It's very rigid, and that's okay, right? Because what's happening is the fundamentals are still proper, right? We're still creating good angles rather than like a traditional golf swing where if I were to play this in reverse, it would look like this at the top, right? We start pushing that shaft away. With our golf swing, because he's never set, now he's allowing that little bit of a set, right? We're actually starting to increase that angle, right? Increase that angle and minimize the distance here between the shaft and the right shoulder. And so really, really cool what we've been able to do in a couple lessons. Look at that. Look at these positions coming down. That's a wonderful golf position. He's never going to be super loaded with his lower body. He can't. It's hard for him to even walk, right? And that's okay. We can still improve. We can still get better, right? And that's the whole point about golf. Whether I'm teaching somebody who's 17 years old and 6'3", 230, plays football, and they're a freak athlete, or somebody who's had multiple heart surgeries, 72 years old, has trouble walking, doesn't matter, right? I want to help you get better, and we can improve no matter what. And so that's the exciting thing about that, and you can hear it in his reaction. Another thing we worked on was just getting him to just rotate without pain, right? And we just unlocked this right foot a little bit. It was glued to the concrete. Right? Just giving him that little bit of freedom. We had that left toe pointed out a little bit to give him some room to turn, to not hurt his left knee. And bada boom, bada bing, we're crushing golf balls and hitting it better than we have in a long time. And so you can do it. Joel can do it. Anybody can do it. And I really hope this helps inspire you to maybe call me, send me a message. Let's get you started on your journey. If you've been sitting on the fence, you've been thinking about it, I'd love to help you. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and new videos coming soon. Thank you.